Alright, so the next thing we are talking about in this section is really just a few different calculations that you might have seen before. Distance formula, midpoint formula, and Pythagorean theorem. So what I'm going to do is put these formulas up here, let you guys copy them down, and then I'll talk about them, okay? So these are the three formulas we are using. Just write it down, then Alright, so in this section we are just talking about a few different calculations that we need. Distance formula and midpoint formula, those are both talking about between 2 points. So if you had a segment, this is x1, y1, the x of the first order pair, the y of the first order pair. This is the point x2, y2. X of the second order pair, y of the second order pair. Right? So to find out how far apart they are, you subtract your x's, square them, subtract your y's, square them, add it together and square root. Midpoint is looking for the middle of your segment. So anytime you're trying to find the middle of two numbers, you average. Add them up and divide by 2. So we do it for both. We add up the x's, divide by 2, add up the y's, and divide by 2. When do we use Pythagorean theorem? What kind of figure are we looking at? What kind of triangle? Okay, in a right triangle. A and B are the legs of the triangle. Those are the sides that touch the right angle. C is the hypotenuse, the longest side. It's always across from the right angle. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We do not, like any of these calculations, I never want a decimal. So if you get the square root of 2, I want you to leave it like that. I don't want you to put in 1.4. If you get the square root of 27, I want you to break that down into 3 radical 3. I don't want you to give me a decimal. So we want exact values on any of these calculations. All right, so let's try some. If I want the distance between these 2 points, all right, so this is like x of the first order pair, y of the first order pair, x of the second, y of the second. So distance is the square root, the formula we just wrote down, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So now we plug in our numbers. x2 is 5 minus x1 is 3. Would it matter if you did 3 minus 5? No, we're going to square them anyway. It won't make a bit of difference. y2 is 4 minus negative 4. Alright, so 5 minus 3 is 2 squared. 4 minus negative 4 makes 4 plus 4. So 8 squared. So 4 plus 64 is the square root of 68. Always check. Do any perfect squares go into 68? Did I lose you?
Yeah.
Where did I lose you? Oh, quit it.
No, I'm being serious. I did not like the x part and the y part.
This is the formula that we copied down.
Yeah.
So now we're plugging in. x2 means x of the second order pair.
Each one gets an extra one.
x1, so x of the first order pair. So y2 is y of the second.
Got it now.
y1, y of the first. Are we okay there?
Yeah.
All right. Square root of 68. Do any perfect squares divide 68? Camera picture change. What goes into it? Everybody grab a calculator. You can do these. Break it down. 4 and 17. So that turns into 2 radical 17 for our final answer. Alright. You guys are not building my confidence there. I want you guys to try one. Find the distance between those 2 points. You dropped a negative when you write down your problem. Here's x of the first, y of the first, x of the second, y of the second. Be careful when you write down your formula. So it's x2 minus x1 squared, y2 minus y1 squared. So at x2, what's my x2? Minus, what's my x1? So it's minus negative 2, not minus positive 2. Alright, plus, what's my y2? Minus y1. Okay. So negative 6 minus negative 2. So minus negative is positive, so you get negative 4 squared. 8 minus 5 is 3, so that's 3 squared. What happens if you take negative 4 times negative 4? Positive 16. Plus 9, so we get square root of 25, which is... Alright, so 2 issues I saw. Dropping a negative right here, and also when you square, a negative becomes positive. Alright, questions about the distance formula? Do we need another one of those? What if I asked you this question? So a right triangle, let's draw ourselves a right triangle, has a hypotenuse, so that's the longest side across from the right angle, of 13, and one leg of length 12. What's the length of the remaining one? So I could just call this a or x or whatever variable I like for now. Formula in a right triangle, Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A and b can be interchanged, but c has to be the hypotenuse. So c is my 13. I don't know a. B is 12. So 12 squared is 144. 13 squared is 169. Subtract over the 144. Normally when you add a square root, we do plus and minus. Do I need that here? Why not? Because I asked, so probably not. Could you have a triangle with a length of negative 5? No. Since it's a length, it would be a positive. So our missing side is 5. All right. What if I said a right triangle has legs of radical 3 and 2 radical 7. Find the hypotenuse. So if I look at my right triangle, the legs, so those are the sides touching the right angle, are radical 3, 2 radical 7. This is my hypotenuse. a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I have 2 radical 7 squared plus radical 3 squared equals c squared. Okay, be careful when you do that 2 radical 7 squared. We know from our last unit that means you have to square the 2 and square the radical 7. What's 2 squared?
4.
What's the radical 7 squared?
7.
So that's 4 times 7, which is 28. What's radical 3 squared? 3. So c squared equals 31. Square root, it has to be positive because it's a length. Can you break down the square root of 31? No, because it's a prime number. So just radical 31. Is that okay? All right. Let's take a look at this. I want the midpoint of the segment from negative 5, 5 to 3, 1. Midpoint is just the average. It's an ordered pair. To get the x value, you add your 2 x's divided by 2. To get the y, you add your 2 y's divided by 2. So this is like the x of the first, the y of the first, x of the second, and y of the second. So if I plug those in, x1 is negative 5, x2 is what? 3 over 2. Okay, to get my y's, y1 is 5, plus y2 is 1, divided by 2. So we get negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1, and 6 over 2, which is 3. So your answer is still an ordered pair. It's saying if you drew that line segment, what's the point in the middle? So it's still an ordered pair. Add them up, divide by 2. Can you guys try one of those? So let's say your points are 2, 8, and 7, negative 4. Find the midpoint. So this is my x1, y1, x2, y2. Midpoint says you add your x's, divide by 2, add your y's, divide by 2. So we get 9 over 2, and 4 over 2 is 2. Or if you wrote it as 4.5 comma 2, that is also okay. Either a fraction in lowest terms or a decimal is fine. Any issues with that? Okay, I have one last type of problem, and then I'm done. All right? Easy day today, short day. I'll have time to work on your homework. All right, this is related to the midpoint, but what I'm doing is I'm giving you the midpoint. So I'm giving you the middle of this. I'm not drawing anything to scale, I'm just drawing a figure to help us visualize it. And here is one of the endpoints. I need the other one. Okay, so my answer is an ordered pair. We need to find that missing endpoint. There are 2 ways of doing this. There's an algebraic way, so if you like writing and solving equations, this way is for you. And then there's kind of a reasoning way. I am going to show both because I do not care how you get the answer, just that you can. All right, so if I'm going to do it as the algebraic way, this is some point xy that I have to find, right? Midpoint says you add the x's and divide by 2. So I'm going to add my 2 x's. So it would be 8 plus x. Divide by 2. And that has to give me the x value of the midpoint. What was the x value of my midpoint? 4. So it's using that formula in reverse. The formula, remember, said x1 plus x2 divided by 2. Here's the x of the first one. We don't know the second one, so I just left it as x divided by 2. And that equals the x in the middle, my 4. Now this is an equation we can solve. You can multiply your 2 over. So 8 plus x equals 8. Subtract over 8, so x is 0. Then you have to get your y, so we do it the same way. The formula for y says y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So y of the first one plus y of the second one divided by 2, and it equals the y of the middle, which was negative 4. So if I multiply over my 2, add my 20, and I get my y to be 12. So my missing point is 0, 12. Now, if you don't like that, the good news is there's another way of doing it. Okay, this one is just using reasoning. So if I'm looking at this, I'm going to rewrite these points since I scribbled all over them. So we had 8, negative 20. The middle was 4, negative 4. And we don't know this point. How do you get from 8 to 4? What do you add or subtract? We subtracted 4, right? So to get to the other end, you have to do the same thing. So if I subtract 4 again, 4 minus 4 is 0. All right? Same thing with our y's. How do you get from negative 20 to negative 4? What do you add or subtract? We add 16. So if I do it again, negative 4 plus 16, did we get the same answer both times? All right, how many of you like doing the equations? Okay, there's always a few people. How many of you like the reasoning? Most of you? All right, here's a problem for you to try. Whichever way you want to get there is fine. So we know the middle is 8, negative 2. The first endpoint is negative 6, 12. I'll show both ways. Feel free to just tune me out if I'm doing the way you don't like. So most of you are doing just the reasoning way. How do you get from negative 6 to positive 8?
Plus 14.
All right, so we do it again. What's 8 plus 14? All right, how do you get from 12 to negative 2?
Minus 14.
So we do it again. Negative 2 minus 14. So my other endpoint is 22, negative 16. If you did the equations, we're just saying the other endpoint is x, y. So you add the x's, divide by 2, and it equals the x of the midpoint, which was 8. Multiply over the 2, add the 6. And the same thing for the y's. Add your y's, divide by 2, it equals the y of the midpoint, negative 2. Multiply your 2, subtract your 12. So same thing both ways. And I do not care which way you work it out. Do you guys have any questions for me over the stuff we've covered? Then you have a massive Math Excel assignment to do in the next 15 minutes. Massive Math hours upon hours.